Okay, welcome to Stellify. I'm currently, as anything happens when you go live, something always goes wrong. And unfortunately, my guest at the moment has not managed to get on, some technical issues. So anyway, welcome to Stellify. I thought while we're waiting for Caroline to come online, thought I'd update you on a few things, how things have been progressing with Stellify. If you've not already joined our Patreon, it's been a great focal point for a number of us. We're building a nice little community there where we've had a couple of great Zoom sessions together where we're coming together and helping each other navigate this crazy realm that we find ourselves in. I'm just picking up my messages from Caroline. She is having a few technical issues at the moment. She will be with us shortly. So last night I had a fantastic conversation with a lady called Jessica Ahlstrom. So that's a podcast that has gone on the Stellify channel for members currently, and it will go public on Wednesday. So just to let you know that I've got a number of guests already lined up as well, scheduled in through the coming week, some fantastic guests on the podcast, and I'm continuing on the series as well. I hope you guys are enjoying it. Caroline's arrived now, so if I can just bring Caroline onto the stage, and then we'll get started on the actual chat. So, hi Caroline, are you okay?
Hi, yeah, I'm good, thanks. Technical issues, as per usual.
Well, that's what happens, especially when you go live. There's always going to be a technical issue for sure. And I've gone live and the dogs are barking because somebody's at the door. So that's exactly what happens. But I thought I'd introduce you, Caroline, if you don't mind. You're the founder of Kinda Magic Events, the heart behind VibeFest. From your powerful experiences with plant medicine to deep work in consciousness exploration and energetic healing, you've walked a path of remembering and rebellion, and it's led you to create spaces for others to awaken, reconnect, and celebrate who they truly are. So, if you don't mind, we could dive a little bit into your personal journey, if that's all right with you. I mean, can you take us back a little bit to some of the early chapters of your awakening and what called you towards plant medicine in particular?
Well, what actually called me towards plant medicine and what I thought was calling me are usually two different things. I didn't really know what I was doing. I was kind of wandering blindly into something that sounded maybe like it would be fun. Irony of ironies. Wasn't quite fun, but it was absolutely illuminating, let's say, along the way. Back in about 2010, I was already kind of into my awakening phase, my first initial awakening phase at that point. I hadn't yet been through my first dark night of the soul. But obviously those are, anyone who's on the spiritual path for a long time knows that those are some heavy duty parts of the process that you have to go through if you are an authentic truth seeker. And seeker of self-knowledge. So, I've always been that. I've had an innate curiosity, which, it's just always driving everything that I do, to a fault, really, where I never stop asking questions, and I can drive myself absolutely mad at times. But my mum said I was born asking why this, why that, so it was always in there. And I think that's how it is. It's like you're kind of born as, there's a blueprint to your soul, or however you want to look at that just directs you on that path. And it was always going to happen. I can see that by the way that I innately rejected a lot of things about school, and all the things that I now consider to be the most indoctrinating aspects of school are the things that I didn't want to know. As soon as I was old enough to vote, I said, no chance. I don't want to know. I've literally never voted. Something in me just said, that's ridiculous. I don't want to know. And I was repulsed by it. So on a spiritual level, you're already kind of geared up for this awakening. But even then, it doesn't make it an easy path, and quite the contrary. So the plant medicines was one of the ways where things started to become a lot clearer for me. So it was around 2011, a friend of mine had a shaman visiting his home. And he said, oh, I know you into mushrooms and whatever, you should come and try this. I said, what is it? And he didn't really know that much either, to be honest. It was just like, well, you know, he's a shaman, he's going to guide us. It's fine. It's a plant medicine from the Amazon. Okay, fine. So I went off to Brighton and I drank the ayahuasca. And it was actually a very mild experience, as a lot of people find on their first experience. It doesn't always take you really deep, because if it slapped you around the universe, you probably wouldn't come back for seconds. Not everybody's ready for the full shebang. So it was really, really mild. And I didn't realize until not even much later, but say the week or two after that, when I was at home on my own, things started to bubble up inside me. And I felt this like wellspring of compassion come out of me. That I'd always had compassion because I was an activist. You have to have, you're very driven by making things right, and sovereignty and justice has always been in my nature. But the actual accessing of that compassion, there was like layers to that, and the ayahuasca just blew the doors off. And I was, had, for all intents and purposes, a week-long meltdown, crying about the state of the earth. And it was just like feeling the pain of everything. And so from that point onwards, I knew that was going to be the path for me. And I mean, it's a really long story. I don't know how much time we've even got, so I don't want to harp on about my own life too much, but that's where it started. And from there, I kind of moved into that world quite easily, and it really suited me. But I went through the ringer, really went through the ringer with it. And there was a lot of shamanic initiation involved. And I can see now that's because I was going to go into the process of working with that with other people. So if you haven't faced the darkness in yourself and in the world, you've got no business holding space for anyone else. You need to have integrity as well as compassion. You need discernment. You need the ability to handle massive problems and psychosis, even when it arises in other people. And so you've got to go through your own versions of that. So in my early days of plant medicines, that's what I did. I went through hell, to be honest. And that does sound almost counterintuitive. Why would you continue doing that if you're going through hell? But it's because on the other side of that hell, you've realized, the doors of perception are wide open. You've seen yourself. You've understood so much more stuff about yourself and why you are the way you are. And it's so liberating even to face the ugliness and, to come face to face with demons. And I mean, in the astral realms and things like that, it's not for the faint hearted, but once you've done it and you've realized you come out the other side of it, the strength, there's a lot of strength in that. So in a nutshell, that's kind of how I ended up on that path. And then when it came to events and stuff, I don't know, were you going to ask me something else?
Well, yeah, was there any key moment or an experience when you were delving into it yourself on a personal level that kind of changed everything for you? I mean, I know you said you've been on that path for a while, but there must have been something that really opened you up.
I mean, there's a lot of things. It wasn't just the plant medicines that did that, though. There were life experiences that really, put me on a completely different path and woke me up massively. With the plant medicines, there was one experience that stood out that I just mentioned a second ago about literally facing demons, where and this isn't going to sell it to anyone, to be quite honest. It's really not. One experience where I literally thought that I'd broken my psyche and I had crossed over into an astral hellscape, basically, which was like a no man's land, a wasteland that went on for eternity, and it was just full of demons and me. And I was conscious in this world here and also stuck there in my third eye. And I was having to face things that I don't even know how to start to describe to you, really. And it shook me up. I mean, really, it took me to places I never really imagined I'd go. And when I came out the other side of that, I had a very kind of different perception of what reality, the layers of reality in the astral, etc. Because I knew that's where I'd been. There was absolutely no question in my mind. That was a real place, and it's not somewhere I ever wanted to go again. But because it exists, it left me with a lot more questions about, well, what else exists? Because, it's not all just darkness. It never is. So it kind of orients you. It directs you towards, you know, more of what you are and where you're from, and you can perceive, the more darkness you can perceive, the more light you can hold in you and become aware of. So it was kind of a double-edged sword in a way. But then there was another experience where, and I wrote an article about this, which I'll send you a link to in case anyone is interested in it, because it's too long a story for me to tell you now. But it was with smoking DMT. So this was before I was working with plant medicines with other people, but it was part of my journey. And I had a very, very dark experience one night with DMT where a deity came and attached itself to my chest to move me away from a demonic attack that was happening to me. And it was very, very heavy. And this deity I now consider to be a potential Egyptian bird deity, maybe Thoth or something like that. I don't know. I know Thoth doesn't exactly have the greatest reputation, but it really looked like that. I didn't really know much about these deities at the time, but this is what happened. And this deity came in and took me away from this. And then from that point onwards, I started having some very, very weird experiences. Literally from that night onwards, I was having incessant deja vus, like relentless all day long deja vus.
Wow.
So it was like I constantly knew what was about to happen next, and that was weird. But then I started having these visions with my eyes open, so I'd see light patterns all over the carpets and bizarre geometry that, from understanding a little bit more about the Kabbalah now, makes me think it was this what they call kilthotic geometry, which is like kind of the anti-geometry, the opposite of sacred geometry. Which carries like kind of doom imprints in it. So when you see it, it's like horrendous. I don't know. It's so abstract. You can't describe it in words. It's not of this world, so you can't really explain it to anyone. And that's part of the problem. Is it's such a lonely path because you're going through these really bizarre things. You try to tell someone about it so you can, you know, get a bit of peace or get some reflection back on it, and people just look at you like, oh, okay, you've gone out to lunch, you're not coming back. It's like, and then that would put me in a really kind of difficult place because I'd feel so lonely with it. And it was getting worse and worse. And I was having these out of body experiences at night where I'd be bouncing off electronic grids in the astral, which I know was literally, I think literally I was hitting the edge of this realm and coming back. I know a lot more about that now. That's another story, but that was happening. I was having these like almost panic attacks really that were shooting me back into my body at a rate of knots, but I was kind of half in two realms and I was still seeing all the geometry and the strangeness of these realms, but I was coming back with epiphanies about what was happening to me. So I knew that I was looping in a life over and over and over like a Groundhog Day on a spiritual level, and it absolutely horrified me. I mean, it's literally like someone's ripped the veil away from you but not giving you the full story. So you kind of know what's going on, but you've got absolutely no way to convey it to anyone in a way that makes sense. So I went through that for 10 years straight.
Is
there was
like
demonic stuff.
When you say it terrified you and horrified you, is that the Caroline, the avatar, or is that this is the thing? Because the true essence, I presume, wouldn't be terrified. I'm not sure, but
you're absolutely right there. Now, what I obviously I had to reflect on this stuff for a really long time. Was I couldn't make sense of it. I didn't really know what was going on, but I now understand it. That at the time I thought I was getting demonically attacked because I'd gone out into the astral DMT realm without the protection of the ayahuasca vine, and basically walked into a portal where things had followed me back because I've been clairvoyant my whole life as well. So I probably shine a little bit brightly for these creatures, and they, you know, they're like, here we go.
Yeah, we'll have that.
That's, you know, I've dealt with a lot of stuff outside of these realms as well. So I kind of invited some torment into my life, and it was another initiation. Eventually it became an initiation where it toughened me up so much I can't even tell you. But the point was that at the time I thought it was just being attacked and I didn't know what to do about it. But now I see that it was my ego that had this sense of identity was just like absolutely obliterated. It was, you know, it was just smashed to bits. I didn't know who I was, what was going on. And my ego was terrified. It panicked when it saw the reality that was going on. I was having other things as well. Like I was waking up thinking that, well, I was dead. I'd never existed. My whole life had been a lie, complete fabrication, all the things that you kind of, that fit into the illusion of things. Like it makes sense. But this was a deep knowing. It was like it wasn't just some like freak out. It was an epiphany. Like I understood fully that that's what was going on. I don't actually exist the way I think I do. So it's really hard for your ego to.
I'm just going to say, how's your ego dealing with that now then?
Well, now I'm still in my. Don't get me wrong, I'm still in my ego. I'm sure loads of people would back me up on that one. but really, I can see it in action. I know when it's triggered. I know when it's like trying to tell me stories and be judgmental and all the things that it does. So it still exists. It's not gone anywhere. I'm not someone who believes in ego death at all, but I am a believer in putting the ego back into its rightful place, which is not the driver's seat, really. You know. It's tricky because the amnesia of this realm is there by design. That's another story entirely, isn't it? But it happens to you over and over again. Like you wake up in the morning, you're a different person than you were the night before. You had all these intentions. Oh, I'm going to wake up in a great mood. I'm going to go for a run around the park. I'm going to this and that. And it's like what Gurdjieff, the philosopher, says about the mechanical eyes. You've got all these different versions of I inside you. You don't know which one you're going to wake up as the next morning. So it's so complex, so many layers of complexity in this ego self, you know, and you're not getting rid of that. But if you can get into the observer state enough and regularly enough that you know that's not actually the full you, and that the spiritual you is actually probably behind a lot of this and trying to tell you, you want to know what's going on, and there might be a reason why you need to know this as well. Like if this world is not what it seems, and maybe I don't want to loop here for eternity in a Groundhog Day style nightmare, you know, really. Well, that sounds quite negative, but I do think there's some truth to that. So, and I've learned that through plant medicines and other things. It's made me a realist. It's made me hard as nails on a spiritual level, to be honest with you. And that's what I need. I have to toughen up because that's what life's done. It slapped me around absolutely relentlessly, to be honest. And I've taken it on the chin and I've come out the other side of it. And I thank the plants for their part in that. And I thank my dark nights of the soul for my part in that as well. But it's put me in a position where I'm able to understand what's healthy and helpful for other people as well, and to help them through difficult times. So my work's been about that. And my events are about that. So yeah, it's all culminated in something that makes sense, but long journey to get there.
Yeah, it's, when you become the observer, though, you can see your path then, though, can't you? But when you're in the middle of it and you're just in your ego, it's impossible to see anything but the fog, and it's quite frightening. Did you ever do? I mean, when I was younger, and I was dabbling into stuff, I quite enjoyed LSD. Is there a big difference between the plant medicines, the ayahuascas, the mushrooms? I've done a couple of mushrooms, but never really got into it too much. But I stopped doing these kind of things when I was in my early 20s, really. Okay. So, but I remember when I was like, I think I was 15, 16 when I had the first LSD, and I was a child, and I was a young 15-year-old, but the next day I was a totally different person. Yeah, completely. I was growing up. The world was different.
That's a common story actually with LSD, isn't it? Because it's one of the ones that kids seem to be able to get hold of quite easily. I mean, for better or worse. And that seems to be what happened to a lot of kids, is they got a lot more than they bargained for. But perhaps again, it's like, you know, if there is some kind of blueprint to this, or not even a blueprint, but like a spiritual calling to waken. I don't even like the word awaken. I think it's a misnomer, but you get the point, is to discover the true authentic self. These become tools that appear on your path. LSD, whatever the mechanism, does it even matter? It's the effect that it's having, the impact, isn't it? And some people are drawn to certain ones and others not so much. And there's easier ways of doing it and not, you know, for me, LSD, I did it a couple of times, not really in the best way, not with with wisdom or you know, setting in mind, and it didn't go very well. I never felt a resonance with LSD. But it's hard to say whether the reason was me being careless with it. It was kind of in my more reckless partying days where I wasn't really doing things for spiritual reasons. I was escaping this horrible feeling that comes with knowing you don't fit into this strange world that we're in, not fully. So, you know, that was
Mm.
why I was doing it. But my experiences with plant medicines have always been so much better. Like mushrooms, I adore them. I've always had great experiences on them, but they've not necessarily taught me as much as quickly and as powerfully. It's been more of a gentle kind of awareness of things bubbling to the surface, whereas ayahuasca is like, you want to know some stuff? Come on, then here you go. Buckle. So
Really, yeah.
it just depends on, you know, how you want to go about it. But there's, you know, there's so much else to consider with these things as well. It's not just about, is this the right medicine for me? It's who are the people that are going to manage my experience? Do they have integrity? Are they even giving me what they're saying they're giving me? Are they going to bury me in the jungle? You know, there's a lot of factors that are really real potential challenges and problems to overcome. And some people come out of this way worse off than they started. It is not for everyone, and it's a gamble. I'm not one of these people who's going to sit there and tell you it's all like sweetness and light in the end and it's the perfect thing to do. No way. I went through hell, and I'm not joking. I still think it was a good thing in the end, but not many people would sign up for that journey if they knew what they were going to go through. So,
and do you think that's a soul thing though, Caroline? If you know, the fact that you are able to have gratitude for those experiences, maybe some souls are not ready for that gratitude, and that maybe that comes in another path, another time. I don't know. I mean, we're all just trying to figure things out, aren't we?
I think what you get from it is kind of what your capacity is as well. So let's say that was going to be part of my life. If there's such a thing as destiny or whatever, it certainly seems that way if you look at synchronicity through your life and you can join the dots and, okay, we do make meaning out of things, and not necessarily, sometimes it's just to make ourselves feel better or whatever. But for me, I'm very honest with myself about what I think things really mean. I'm quite objective. And when I joined the dots, it seems to me that was always kind of going to go that way. It just makes sense. And I was literally pushed into certain situations that, you know, and I had dreams about it, prophetic dreams, all sorts of stuff. So it was going to go that way. Not everybody is doing it for that reason. Some people are, that's, you know, it's got popular, hasn't it? You know, there's a kind of, it's blown up massively all around the world. Yeah. I don't think that's a good thing at all. And I've obviously, as someone who's held ceremonies for a lot of people, I've seen all sorts of different types of people come in for different reasons. And what I have seen is that some people actually are nowhere near ready to let go of any ego. They're actually there to kind of convince themselves that they've met God and that they're one of the chosen ones, and then go out there and say that they're going to be the next shaman and what have you. And it just, I've seen this loads of times. And actually, what happens is the plant medicines are very, very intelligent. They know you but they can read you like a book, and they know that's how they manage to teach you things. If you go in there with your ego thinking, I reckon I've got this to work out, I've got this to learn, you think you kind of know what's going to happen. Your ego is always going to try and geg in on it and like control the situation. So the plant medicine has to get around that, and it will trick you using your environment and people in the room and make you think certain things are happening in a certain way to trigger your emotions, to get the stuff out of you, and then you can see yourself in real color in the moment. So that happens. But when people have a really strong ego and they're like, you know, sometimes you get these lads that are like kind of experience is the thing to do, you know, and it's hard nuts to crack. The shell's nowhere near ready to come open, especially in a room full of other people and other men, you know. Something that I've seen quite a bit. And I'm just saying that, you know, the experiences that they have, although they do sometimes have like some epiphanies and do realize some stuff, quite often it can go the other way, and then life has to trip them up. The plant will set them up to thinking that they're the next big thing or whatever. You know, great, you've got no work to do. They'll go out there in the world with that attitude, and then life will trip them up because you can't get away with that attitude for long out there in the real world, and they'll find out some other way how they really are. So it's almost like it will get you one way or another, but it's like, which way do you want to go about it? Do you want to give in and just be humble and open in the first place, or not?
And I've seen that in spiritual circles myself. You know, there's the masculinity as well. I've been in some sweat lodges and I've seen it all. Kind of thing. It's
like the saunas in Liverpool.
Exactly. But what was I going to say? So, but it has got popular in the past 10, 15 years, hasn't it? It's really popular.
Yeah.
And is that down to the new age market? It's a bit of a, you know, they've just dragged, like cacao as well has become very popular as well. I mean, is that all down to the fact that there's push for the new age market?
Yeah, I mean, it's a big part of it. I think there's various things going on with that. I'd say that, you know, a lot of people are they feel very uncomfortable in the world with good reason. Things are getting weirder and weirder. We know that. I mean, anyone with eyes in their head can see that we live in a ridiculous place.
We do.
Happening is almost like an episode of The Simpsons, isn't it? It's ridiculous, but it's also dark. It's like some of it is so absurd as to be funny almost, and then some of it is actually really quite spiritually challenging. And if you've had any kind of dark nights of the soul or dark experiences that have led to some degree of existential crisis, then you'll know it's very hard to settle into a world like this. Once you've seen through that veil, then you can see easily through this world. And a lot of people just they might not know exactly why they feel shit, but they just do. And it's like, we need a way to feel better. But because some of them are, you know, I'm not saying this in a judgy condemnation way, but we're at where we're at. And if you're not kind of ready emotionally and spiritually for these experiences, you're just going to strive for the trimmings of awakening, as it were. You're going to believe in awakening, you're going to believe in enlightenment, and that this person's more enlightened and that one's less enlightened, and all of those ideas. And it's kind of, that's all the new age stuff that does bring people into all of this stuff. And it's an inevitability, really, that they're looking for solutions and looking for answers, but they get caught up in the traps of it all. And, you know, ultimately they don't want to deal with the discomfort that comes with the true awakening. So they end up with the sticky sweet, like the trimmings of these spiritual experiences, and people get addicted to that, and they love the community and the vibes and all that. So it's kind of understandable, but you're not really going anywhere with a lot of that. You're having a nice time, which is great, but don't kid yourself that it's actually waking you up to anything. It's not, you know, it's certainly not going to tell you anything about the nature of this realm, not really. And I think ultimately that's kind of what the bottom line here is we need to know where we are and why we're here. And that's what everyone wants to know, but we forget about that along the way because we're just too busy just meditating and drinking cacao. Not there's anything wrong with it, it's great, but it's not the full story is all I'm saying. So,
well, there's a lot of work to be done, isn't there? You know, there's a lot of inner work and shadow work to be done, like walking the dark nights, and you can quite easily just spiritually bypass by jumping on these little circles, if you like, and sort of law of attraction kind of dream everything to one side, and then, I mean, that's fine if you want to live your life like that. That's absolutely fine. Me personally, with the curiosity I have, I want to know where the fuck I am. I want to know what's going on. I want to know why I'm here and where I'm going after this. And if I'm having to go somewhere, how do I navigate that place as well? Because this place is tough to navigate on its own.
Can you imagine what's next?
Exactly, yeah. I know. I want to know because I want to prepare myself.
Yeah. I mean, you listen to these nihilists that, I mean, there's some dark stuff out there about, you know, the nihilistic stuff. It's like they've basically had enough of life. They don't like it. They're very realistic. They say, this is a horrible shit show. I don't want to know. But because they haven't got that spiritual guidance within them, they think that's just it. You basically live this horrific life and then that's it. You die. And okay, but if you don't have that spiritual, they might well be right about this place. But the thing is, if you can't figure out before you get there how to navigate the next steps, I think you can, you know, this nihilistic hamster wheel that you're on is going to continue. And that's just, I can't think of anything worse. I just can't. And it's not a question of we're trapped, you know, we're tricked. No, it's a case of understanding your true power. If you don't realize that you are the authority and that nothing has the authority over you, if you don't overcome all the fears that this place wallops you with on a daily basis, it's literally programming you to be terrified your whole life. If you can't get past that, you haven't understood your true power. And that's the only thing that's going to give you that sovereignty, the spiritual sovereignty that you want. So
it sounds like that's a great purpose of this place then. It literally is to wake you up.
Well, I don't know. You see, I've thought this is a big question, isn't it? I've thought this one through a lot. And my current working theory on it is that the matrix, let's call it the matrix. And when I say the matrix, I don't mean that in a throwaway way. What I'm saying is that we've got this organic realm, let's call it Gaia, the mother, Sophia, God's world, whatever. But we've got this matrix overlay that is the mind. The mind is the problem. It's a mechanism that the overlay operates through. So all of the thoughts and everything that comes in, we can still use that mechanism, but we're so caught up in the programming that comes through that mechanism, we don't realize that's what the matrix actually is. And it's that overlay that controls everything you do, because your emotions respond to your thoughts, and you're constantly like caught up in the mind all the time. And that's exactly why we're always pummeled with so much information and think this, believe in that, follow this, go down that rabbit hole. Whatever you do, as long as you're using this, you're caught up in the matrix. You got to get into this heart space. That's your way out of there, really. So this mind is the issue. So, and I've completely forgotten what I was going on about now. I'm going off on one of my massive tangents. What was the question about?
I've forgotten as well, but I've got a question for you though from Neil. Neil pulled up a question about. I'll bring it up on the screen here. Caroline, have you got RH blood, and what colour are your eyes?
It's not the first time I've been asked that. No, my eyes are green. Well, they're kind of like somewhere between green and blue, and I have a central heterochromia, which is like a yellowy brown colour. So there you go. That's exact. But I'm a B plus blood type.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think I should find out what mine is. I haven't got a bloody clue.
Yeah. I'm wondering if he thinks I'm an alien.
Are we not all?
I mean, I definitely don't think that my origins, my essence comes from this place. Absolutely not. I've just remembered why we were talking about that though, Ant. You were asking, is that the purpose of this place? And I'm saying, so you've got this organic natural state, let's call that even Eden, and then you've got the tree of knowledge, which the Gnostics would say is the right way to go, but the Bible wants to tell you the opposite. That's basically Lucifer that you followed. The jury's out on that one. However, this realm is battering us for a reason. I'm sorry, but some of the stuff that's going on here is beyond lessons. No one in their right mind would come here and be born in Palestine to have their limbs blown off and have their kids destroyed that way. And I'm sorry, but we don't need to learn these lessons of grief over and over and over again. This school programming does not add up, does not make sense to me whatsoever. So what that tells me is, well, if trauma is what wakes us up, well, then we're going to naturally conclude that trauma is a good thing in a way. In the end, it's waking us up. It's making us come back to who we are, what we are, and understand God. But I actually just think that's a risky byproduct that the Matrix is putting out there. So it has to traumatize you to harvest your energy, right? That's how it powers. We power it that way. It has to traumatize you. But in traumatizing you, it risks you actually asking more questions, because if you are a strong spirit, you're going to ask questions and say, hang on, this doesn't make sense. You start asking those questions, and then inevitably that trauma, they'll traumatize you even more. It'll try and knock you down to a point where you can't even think straight. That's what's happened to me, honestly. It's like,
if your life was perfect, Caroline, from day you were born to the day you end, you wouldn't ask questions and you just keep repeating, you'd be fine, wouldn't you? That's because your life's perfect. Without the trauma, you're never going to ask a question. You're never going to be challenged.
Is your biggest problem. That's it. And I agree. I don't want to be traumatized, and there's got to be other ways to do it. In an ideal world, lessons would be a lot calmer and a lot nicer. They would come from love. These lessons don't come from love. They come from evil. No. I'm sorry, but that's bloody fact. It's obvious. Just look around you. Like most people can't take in the magnitude of that. It's quite myopic. We sort of expand our, we look at what's going on in our circles that we can kind of, as far out as we can kind of perceive things in our culture and in our personal network and personal experiences. And then beyond that, it's quite hard for us to really comprehend the magnitude of how bad things actually are for fellow humans. We might conceptualize it, but we can't feel it. It's too much for us, right? So we get caught in this amnesia cycle over and over again. And that amnesia should tell you something as well, really. But if you're strong enough in your spirit and you anchor into that, you're going to be able to see through this stuff. And it's not all bad. It literally is empowering you inadvertently. It's not a school, it's inadvertent. So it's a testament to your own strength of your spirit and your ability to process your experiences in such a way that you know, well, A, I'm not going to do that again, but B, that means something really, really important about me and my strength. It doesn't mean I passed a test, I passed a lesson, I'm going to get a great life next time. There, if you believe that, well, I don't know, I feel a bit sorry for you, to be honest.
Well, before we move on to the next kind of thing, Neil's brought up the original hair, red hair, white skin, green eyes is the R1b gene, which first shows up in Ireland 10,000 years ago, and no one knows where from.
Well, Neil, you forced me to expose myself now, but this is it's not technically out of a bottle, but it's an amalgamation of me trying to lighten the dark dye that I had on my hair, and it's come out ginger. so I don't actually have ginger hair. I've heard that theory, and I like that, and I resonate with that spirit. But it's I think my hair is like a kind of slightly dark brown naturally. So yeah.
Let's move on to VibeFest, which is obviously something that you are working very hard at the moment putting together. What's inspired that? Was that some kind of download yourself, or was it a build up over time, or something else?
It came up synchronistically. I mean, I've worked in events for many, many years. I mean, running ceremonies is and setting up retreats is events as well, obviously. So I've always kind of been doing events, but that wasn't kind of the primary focus. But I was a festival organizer as well. Just before, I had a job working for a charity in Liverpool, and I organized a literary festival here, which goes on for a month. So I was already kind of moving back into events, and I'm very drawn to that because I'm very good at bringing people together. It seems to be one of the things that I do, and I've done that through all my work, really. And when I'm doing that in conjunction with the spiritual matter, so I'm creating events where people are going to learn something and grow, or just get together and, develop community. That really kind of feeds my soul, and I just feel like I'm kind of living, if there is such a thing as purpose. I think that's debatable, or purpose is, has many faces, but that's the closest I get to a sense of purpose, really. So it seems a bit inevitable, really, that all the things that I've done would culminate in this at this time, where the world's really like going to hell in a handcart, isn't it? Let's be honest.
Well, yeah.
The thing is, people have had 10 bells knocked out of them. They don't even realize how they feel anymore. They're disconnected. And I'm saying that I know how that feels. I've been that person, just feeling like I've just got no motivation anymore. I don't particularly like the world, or the way that I don't like the Matrix. I like nature, and I like the origins of it all, but we've lost touch with it so much, and everyone's really, really losing touch through the digital era and the addictions to the phones and the dopamine and all that stuff's going on all the time, and we're not seeing that we're slipping away from the things that we really need. If you want to be strong spiritually, you need other people, you need your communities, you need to stand together and say no to this horrendous shite that's coming our way. And a lot of people know that, but they're not making the effort to actually to cultivate this community that we need. And it's because they don't know where to start. I'm not blaming anyone. I'm just saying someone's got to do it. It's not just me. There's loads of other people doing similar stuff. But I think motivation is really important. And the motivation for me with this festival is because I joined up with the Missing Kind charity to create this. It was actually their idea to put a festival on, and then as we kind of got to know each other and decided to work together, it became very clear that we had the same goals, the same understanding of what's going on. And the VibeFest is the result of all of that, because we just really want to create that powerful community at this point and have a really good time and bring some joy back. I'm sick to death of feeling flat as a pancake personally. And I know other people feel the same as me. I know my friends feel the same, and it's like you just get lost in the quagmire of it all, and it's time we've got to stop doing it. So,
well, can you maybe pitch it a little bit then in terms of what people can expect on that weekend? What's happening?
Well, obviously education's a big part of it. We all got thirst for knowledge. Our type of people is very much interested in learning new stuff. So bringing some really cutting edge things to the table. I mean, there's so much on the schedule. I almost don't even know where to start with that. But there's a lot of topics that I think are kind of very helpful to physical wellness, which we obviously need. If you're not physically well, you're not spiritually well, and the other way around as well. So we've got to handle both sides of that. So we've got a lot of stuff focusing on physical wellness, and that's everything from modern cutting edge technologies that can. The diagnostics are absolutely insane. Like, you would never imagine that they can pinpoint the level of detail of what's wrong with you on a cellular level. I mean, that's the next, I'm not all about technology myself, as I'm a little bit suspicious of technology, but I think it's on how you use it. And there are things that can really help humans to bring themselves to the next level. So we've got quite a bit of that. We've got like Ayurveda and ancient traditions and a lot of energy healing type of modalities that are quite new as well. So we're trying to bring some quite novel stuff to the forefront, but at the same time we want to have loads of fun. So we've got things like ecstatic dance, we've got an open mic night, we've got like people playing Brazilian percussion instruments and getting the crowd involved, we've got shamanic ceremonies, we've got performers, what else, loads of workshops, shamanic workshops, psychic workshops, a psychic stage show. I mean, I'm just reeling off everything that's coming to me all at once, but as you can see, there's a lot of different things going on there. You can find that all in one tidy list on the website if you're interested in the different details. But suffice to say, it's very much about opening the doors to the next level of spirituality, learning skills such as trauma management, somatic healing, lucid dreaming, astral projection. There's a lot of different ways that you can open those doors, and I think it's going to be so much fun and so exciting. I'm really looking forward to it.
I'm very excited by it. You have worked very hard, I know, because I've been working a little bit closer with you over these past few weeks. I've seen how hard you've been working putting this together. It's going to be a mega event, and there's a lot of great names there already, and you're doing something very special there, and it's slightly different as well, isn't it? Because you're offering so much education there, as well as raising the vibration, hence VibeFest, obviously. But there's a real opportunity, and you've got the tickets are out on sale now, aren't they? I've just
last couple of early bird tickets still up, but they're going to go down in the next couple of days. That's not a pressure thing, it's just they literally have been up for too long already. I'm trying to be nice, but I've got to take them down. So that's the way it goes.
So they can get that at kindofmagicevents.org, and you've got so it's a 2-day event, isn't it? So it's the 5th 6th and 7th of September, over that weekend in Cambridge
on the Sunday. So
of course, so that's exciting in itself. Neil has said as well that regarding your hair, that it doesn't matter, because dark brown is dark red and blonde is light red.
Very true, actually. Yes, you're right.
So there you go. In your experience, because I mean, obviously we can't stay on too long. I'd like to have another one with you at some point and really dive into this reality. I think that's a full episode in itself, really. In your experience, so what's happening to human consciousness right now? Then are we seeing people slowly waking up? Is this not the Great Awakening that has been proclaimed since 2020?
I don't know. I think it's multi-layered. I think there's definitely some more ease in seeing through the different layers of reality, and sometimes that's happening because people see the absurdity of things and they start asking questions. So there's almost like an actual push from the Matrix almost to wake people up, let's say, as it were. But I think, and we could get into some real like out there stuff with this, but some would say that it's the trajectory of Sirius moving back and the influence that Sirius is having as a star over humanity. Some would say it's the Yuga that we're in, it's the, you know, the dawning of Aquarius, or, you know, there's a lot of ways that we could say that this awakening is possibly happening. But at the end of the day, a lot of this stuff, it's just stories, theories and ideas. Some of it's come from scripture, but what I can actually see happening is that, yes, people are starting to understand a little bit more. However, I do not think that that is going to result in everybody just suddenly unifying all their ideas and the world just becoming this utopia. First of all, we're in duality, so I really don't think that, I think utopian ideas are a little bit misguided, to say the least, because it would be completely out of balance. Plus, you're never going to get everyone to agree on all the things that need agreeing on. It would be absolutely horrendous if we did. It would be so boring. There'd be no context, no contrast. So I don't think everybody's just going to wake up into this utopia. Absolutely not. What I do see coming, ever the realist, I would say. Some people would like to label me completely cynical, I'm sure, but actually I don't think that's the case. I think what's happening is that we're being set up for the new age order, I would call it. So they're making things as, or the matrix, and I say I don't like to say all the elite and all that. Oh, there are some minions of the matrix and that we would call the elite, who are implementing these things, but the impulses are coming from the matrix. It's keeping us in a certain vibration, or it's trying very hard to do that. So what's happening is that we have to be pushed into some real heavy darkness in order that by the time the savior system pops up, it's going to look like they're doing us a huge favor. Look, we're pulling you out of all this horrible stuff, and here's the scapegoats here. Blame them, that politician, this one, that one. Hate them, that system, yeah, that's gone now. We know that wasn't for you. Debt forgiveness. But you're going to find that it's all still monitored very, very carefully. You'll have drones everywhere still. AI will be the next god. They're seeding us for an AI religion where we literally worship AI as some kind of god. And people are already doing it. They are. It's like, it's lost the plot. So no, we're not waking up. We're getting caught up in what the machine wants us to get caught up in, really. I think some people are waking up. I know, I keep saying, though, I don't like even saying it, waking up. It's a misnomer.
I know what you mean. It's an awareness, though, isn't it? It's just an awareness of what's going on. I mean, so you're trying to say that Trump isn't a savior then? No, I won't get into that. We're not going to get into that.
Hell no. None of them are. There's no heroes on the world stage. Absolutely not.
Of course there's not.
Trump is the bloody light bearer. The statue.
I know he is.
He was always coming for this. It's like it's written. They're trying to speed up the book of Revelations and enact it right now. Anyway, bring on this false apocalypse so that they can swoop in with your charismatic wiggy man to save the day. I find the whole thing absolutely ludicrous, but each to their own. You believe what you want, but if you're looking for an external savior, you don't understand your own power. That's it. You've got work to do, and that's the bottom line.
Exactly. Well, that's exactly it. We're here to remember who we truly are. That I've been saying, been bleating on about that for quite a while. There is no one coming here to save you. You are the one who's going to save you. That you are the one.
You are the one. That's the bottom line.
That is it. Yeah. This is it. You are Neo. It's time to wake up to Neo now and realize who is the one.
Yeah. And realize that the Wachowski brothers never actually created Neo at all, but they stole the story and then turned into two women.
I believe so. Well, yeah, I saw that. I saw a picture of it the other day. I was like, oh. I mean, if that's not enough to send you over the edge. Jesus Christ. I mean, it's not even attractive, is it? You know what I mean? It's repulsive. It's like, what the hell? I saw a picture today, actually, and it was a picture of a load of ladies in the 70s, and they were all lined up, all beautiful and everything else. And the meme was sort of like, look, there's no
sunscreen,
no purple hair, no this, no coloured hair, no cocks.
Oh, I've seen a few memes that say milk, but yeah. I mean, that's another entire conversation. I'm probably going to get into that with Carly Spell on the Dark Matters channel soon. That's a whole can of worms. A lot of people are really just think you're mental for even entertaining that idea. But when you really start digging, it makes perfect sense. Madame Blavatsky would tell you exactly what all that was about. It was always there. The esoteric teachings are telling you exactly what they're doing with all the gender inversion. It's, you know, nothing, you know, people do what you like, you know, I literally could not care less, but it's the agenda that we're talking about. That's
absolutely. It's just the fact that it's shoved down people's throats and it's affecting children. This is the thing. You know, this is another conversation for another time, I think, because
we could go on, couldn't we?
We could go on. I mean, we could definitely, and we should definitely do a proper 2-hour jobby on this reality and the whole madness of this place, because it's there's nothing quite like having a good chinwang over that. So are you excited, or are you nervous? You're looking forward to it? Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't call it nervous. I think in the beginning, I was like, when I was really realizing that I'd bitten enough off to break my own jaw, I was just like sweating a little bit for a while, but it just synchronistically it all came together. Yeah, quite not easily. I mean, I've had to work a lot, and I'm still working. Yeah. I mean, it's literally taken over my whole life, to be honest. But I'm doing. I love it. I'm doing it for the love of it, and I'm seeing a lot of synchronicities around it. So I have a lot of faith that it's for the right reasons. And it would, you know what? If it didn't work out, I'd find it to be some kind of cruel joke of the Matrix, if anything, but I'd just take it on the chin like everything else I have done from the Matrix anyway. So there's really no point in me stressing about it. I just really hope that people feel the passion behind this and can see the value, and the pricing as well is really good, to be honest. We've tried to make it as accessible as possible so that as many people as need it will come in and enjoy the fruits. So yeah, I'm excited for that reason. I can only envisage something amazing. That's all I'm capable of. So yeah.
Well, if there's anything, we're here to create, even if it's through the madness and the challenges that are thrown in our way. We are creators, and you are going to create something really special. And I'm really looking forward to coming down and spending some time with you as well.
Yes. Teaching people how to become Stellify.
Well, it's about, remember, it's basically what you've been saying throughout this chat. You know, that we are. You know, we're not the programs. We're not the subconscious programming that we're endured from the traumas and everything else. We're much more special than that. There's a lot more. And once we realize and we become the observer, like you said, then we can become creators, and the archons can fuck off, basically. You know. And they may challenge us, but you know, and in the end, they only do that because they want to be us. They can't have what we've got. So
yeah, well, that's it. It's again testament to your power. All of it is a testament to your power. The fact that you have to be tricked, deceived, coerced, and beaten up should tell you something about your true power, and all you have to really viscerally remember that. It's not a concept. It's a true, deep, visceral understanding. When you get that. And if that is being through beating up, well, so be it. But
absolutely,
absolutely. So
absolutely. So just a quick reminder for everyone who's watching: tickets are on sale now. kindofmagicevents.org. It's VibeFest. It's in Cambridge. It's going to be a great weekend. I can't wait to be there. I hope you can come and join us. Very much looking forward to it. Thanks for this chat, Caroline. I've really enjoyed it. And to be honest with you, we said we'd do 45 minutes. I could easily do another hour and a half easy on just what we're talking about. So we're going to have to set something up when the festival's out of the way. Let's do that. But thanks so much for your time. I really appreciate it. And thanks for everyone who's watching us live. I really appreciate you coming on and getting involved in the chat as well. And we'll see you really soon. Thanks very much.
Bye.